It is just a disguise. There's a story behind that. This is your daily message from Chad number 678 to upgrade your mental game today by telling yourself a better story. Because the most important story you hear is the story you tell yourself. This message is dedicated to Taylor Whitaker. Thomas Mapother was not a good student in high school. He had some learning difficulties. He went to Glen Ridge High School in Glen Ridge, New Jersey. They graduate 80 to 90 kids a year. The only thing that Thomas was known for was wrestling. He wasn't a great wrestler. He was a below average wrestler. I think his first year he didn't even win any matches. But by the time he was a junior, he was doing okay. And his coach said, "Thomas, next year you're going to have a winning record." Well, Thomas, who was a little kid, 130 to 140 pounds, every summer he and his mother had this argument. He wanted to play football. His mom said, "Thomas, look at yourself. You're a little kid. If you play football, you're going to get hurt." Well, before his senior year, he said, "Mom, this is my last chance. This is my last year of high school. If I don't play football now, I'll never play." So his mother acquiesced, and just as she predicted, after about 5 weeks in, he hurt himself. He didn't need an operation, but it was such a bad leg injury, the school doctor wouldn't clear him for wrestling. So he can't wrestle his senior year, and that was his thing. He loved wrestling. Now, I know this story is true because I heard it from my friend who had Thomas's wrestling coach as a student, Angelo Corbo, and he heard it from him. Angelo said, "Thomas, you could be the manager of the team," but Thomas thought if he couldn't wrestle on the team, he would just be frustrated watching the other guys. He was kind of upset, but he was resilient, so he looked for something else to do that winter when he saw auditions for the school play. At Glen Ridge High School, most of the guys played sports in the winter, which limited the competition, and he got the lead in the school play, which that year happened to be Guys and Dolls. Well, they're just getting ready to open, and the girl who had the female lead in Guys and Dolls, she had a stage mom. She thought her daughter was going to be a superstar, so she made sure that there was a New York City theatrical agent at the opening of Guys and Dolls at little tiny Glen Ridge High School. The agent showed up and he saw the girl, and he saw nothing in the girl. He saw Thomas Mapother and he said, "This kid has something going for him." So he spoke to him after the show. He gave him his card, and the agent said, "Look, I'd like you to come to New York. I have some connections." Well, Thomas found his way to New York, and 3 years later, Thomas Mapother is in the movie where he's dancing in his underwear, and the rest is history. His name isn't Thomas Mapother in the movies. He used his middle name. His full name was Thomas Cruise Mapother. That's the story of Tom Cruise. Just as I disguised who this story was about, often bummers are blessings in disguise. If Tom Cruise had not been injured, his life would have turned out totally different. What can seem like the end of the road is just a bend in the road. Don't place a period where God has placed a comma. Obstacles are often opportunities. Email me your story of a bummer being a blessing in disguise to fromchadsmith@gmail.com. You can find these messages on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can download my book, The Most Powerful Story in the World, by going to fromchad.gumroad.com. The transcript of this message and hundreds of others are always available at fromchad.com.